Hi guys, welcome to Wings Training Solutions. My name is Kriti and today I will take you through email etiquettes. So let's get started. What is email etiquette? Now, email etiquette refers to the principles of behavior that one should use when writing or answering email messages. Email messages are a set of rules that one needs to follow when he is writing an email. Now, depending upon to whom we are writing, whether we are writing to our friends, relatives, colleagues, co-workers, or clients, these set of rules or these set of principles or the email etiquette, they differ. So today we are only going to talk about what these set of rules are all about. Before we talk about that, let's talk about that why is it important to learn email etiquettes? Whether we like it or not, but responding to emails consume much of our time. As per a survey by Washington Post, an employee is spent on an average 4.1 hours a day checking work emails. Despite the fact that we are glued to our reply buttons, plenty of professionals still do not know how to write an email properly. And besides the sheer volume of messages we are reading and writing, we may be prone to making more embarrassing errors. And those mistakes can have serious consequences. So that is why it gets important to learn about email etiquette so that we do not make mistakes. Because we will be spending on an average 4 hours a day checking and answering emails. Let's talk about what are the parts of an email. Now, we all know that an email has four parts. That is subject line, greeting or salutation, body text, signature, and closing off. Now, further, we are going to discuss all these four parts of an email one by one. So let's start by discussing subject line. So use the subject line wisely. Subject line should be brief and it should effectively summarize the message. Do not use more than 6 to 7 words in a subject line and never ever use capital letters. Because when you use capital letters, it looks rude. It conveys the message that you are shouting at the other person. So do not use capital letters and use the subject line wisely. If you are in a chain mail conversation, then in that case, when replying, change the subject line if the topic changes. So for example, you have a query, you wrote an email to your boss. Now your boss responds you back on that email and your query is resolved. But now you have another query and you are writing the same query and sending that to your boss on the same email or the same chain mail conversation. In that case, if you forget to change the subject line, then your boss will think that, oh, I have already answered the query, and he will not open your email. So that is why it gets important that when the subject or the topic changes, then in that case, change the subject line. And guys, please remember, subject line is the first thing that a person sees when he opens his inbox. So if you use the subject line wisely, then it will attract the person and the person will click on it. He will click on it, he will open your mail and he will go through it. But if you will not use the subject line wisely, then there are chances that the person will not read your email. Rather, he will direct your email to the spam box. So make sure you use the subject line very wisely. Now, after subject line, let's talk about salutation. So what is salutation? So salutation is all about how you greet a person, how you say hello to a person. So be careful when you are writing the salutation. The sender must ensure that his or her reader is comfortable and happy with the salutation. Otherwise, the rest of the communication may not bring any positive result. Email openings and salutation. They set the tone of the email and they influence how your message is perceived. So be careful with the salutation. So, for example, if you have a boss whose name is Mr. John Smith, now your boss is comfortable with the fact that you address him by his first name. In that case, you can address him by saying, "Hello, John," or "Dear John." But if your boss is not comfortable with the fact that you should address him by his first name, or maybe you are writing an email to a stranger, in that case, make sure that you address the person by his surname, like, "Hello, Mr. Smith," or "Dear Mr. Smith." So be careful with the salutation because they set the tone of your email. And make sure that the reader of your email is comfortable and happy with the way you are addressing him. Now let's move further. Let's talk about body. So body is the main message that we compose. And the key to write an effective message is to keep it short and to the point. Body explains the main message of the email. For formal email, use proper grammar and complete sentences. Make sure whatever you are writing, you should write it concisely and clearly. Keep it short, professional, and objective. Do not write unnecessary stories or unnecessary excuses. Do not beat around the bush. Rambling on and on in an email about the reasons, excuses, and the circumstances surrounding your problem will not help you. So make sure you keep the body short and to the point. State your problem or the request or the solution that you are looking for right away. Keep it short, keep it simple. Now let's move further and talk about the do's and the don'ts. So, do not use capital letters. As I said before when we were talking about the subject line, the same implies in the body as well. Do not use all capital letters. When you use all caps, it conveys the feeling of anger or shouting to most of the people. It does not look good. People think that you are rude and you are shouting at them. So refrain using all capital letters. Do not use too many exclamation marks or question marks. Stick to the basic rule of grammar. Whenever, wherever it is necessary, just use one exclamation mark or one question mark. Do not use abbreviations or slang, like the words or the internet vocabulary which are going around. Do not use them. Refrain using the abbreviations or the slang. Now, do not use emoji in your email. Emoji is a feature which is available in the email, but do not use it. If you are writing to your friend or relative, then that is okay. In that case, you can use emoji. But if you are writing an email to a professional person, then do not use emojis. Be careful of the font and the font size that you are using. So the best or the ideal fonts to use for the purpose of a business email are Arial, Helvetica, Serif, Times New Roman, and Georgia. Use only these fonts. Avoid using fonts like cursive writing or Comic Sans. And yes, make sure you do not go any smaller than 10 points in size. So your font size should be number 10. Anything smaller than 10 will make it too small to read, and anything more than 10 will make it too big and it will not look nice. So stick to the ideal point size, that is number 10. Now let's move further and talk about the email signatures. Now, email signatures are the things that we use to sign off or close our email. So, you should sign off with your full name and not your nickname when you're writing to an official person. If you're writing to a friend, in that case, it is okay. You can sign off with your nickname. But if you are writing to a professional person, make sure you use your full name. You could use phrases like sincerely, thanks, and thanks and regards when signing off. And when you are signing off, mention your designation, your company's name, and your official contact number under your name. So if you can see here at the bottom of the slide, here is an example of how you should sign off your email. So end your email by using phrases like sincerely or thanks or maybe thanks and regards, followed by your name, John Smith or whatever, followed by your designation, project manager, your company's name, ABC Corporation, and your contact number. Now, guys, the most important thing, read over before you send. So make sure you have no spelling mistakes or grammatical errors. You can make use of tools like spell checkers to ensure that there are no spelling mistakes or grammatical errors. Be sure you have not made your email too emotional or too angry. It should sound professional. And make sure that you are not sharing any confidential information or putting someone's identity at risk. Like you are not sharing anybody's bank account details, their credit card numbers, or ATM card numbers over the email. So do not share any confidential information or put anybody's identity at risk. Now, guys, the most important thing, be careful. Carefully decide who will see your email. That is, be careful when you are choosing reply all, CC, and BCC. So, be careful not to click on reply all when you do not want everyone to see your reply. When you click on CC, which stands for carbon copy, the person you reply to will be able to see who you are sending a copy of the mail to. And when you click on BCC, which is blind carbon copy, the person you reply to will not come to know or he will not be able to see who you are sending a copy to. So carefully decide who will see your email. Now, guys, this is very important. Email is not a tool to discuss on its serious problems. Do not provide very sensitive or private information in an email. Email should be used to communicate about simple requests or maybe information. Complicated or delicate personal problems should be discussed over phone or in person. So if you have any personal issues that you want to discuss with your boss, then in that case, take a time to meet in person and then talk about those issues. So for example, at the bottom of the slide, you can see we have a beautiful example of how you can write to your boss and ask him to give you a proper times on which you can go and meet him. So you can write something like that. I wish to set up a convenient time to come talk to you for something important about my personal life as it is affecting my work. You can write something like that and send it to your boss. Your boss will read it. He will reply you back with a convenient time. Go meet your boss at that time and then talk your problems or discuss your issues with him in person. Now, guys, make sure, keep it polite. Keep your email polite. Do not use insulting language. And if you are upset wait until you have calmed down to send an email. Now, guys, here's where the accessibility and the speed of technology can get you in big trouble. So, if you are upset with your boss or your employee or your colleague, take the time to cool off before you write any email. Because if you are upset or angry, then when you write an email, your emotions will come out in form of the words, and then your email will sound rude or angry. So make sure that you only write an email once you have calmed down. And yes, be very careful of what you are writing in an email, as the documented mail could be used in legal proceedings in some of the cases. So, for example, you are writing an email to your client and asking him that if he signs a contract with your company, you will give him 25% discount. Now, the client signs a contract with your company, but after that, you do not give him 25% discount, but just give him 10% discount. Then, in that case, the client could use your email in which you have made a promise of 25% discount. He could use that email as an evidence and could sue your company. So make sure you do not provide fake information or make false promises in your email, because your email could be used as an evidence in legal proceedings as well. So be careful of what you are writing. Keep it short, keep it to the point, and make sure that it is polite. All right, guys, so here we come towards the end of the session. And if you have any question, then post it below in the comment section. And if you like our content, so please share, subscribe, and press the bell icon to get more regular updates. Thank you so much, guys.